Batman 148, Legacy number 913, Chip Zdarsky writing with Jorge Jimenez on the art. So this is not an oversized issue, but it is an oversized main story because instead of having a backup, it just got all the
Yep.
pages to do the end of its arc, which is fair enough. Like, it's a fine idea.
Yeah, they're cutting up to the start of Absolute Power, so I'm sure they had to wrap things up here.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I've just always been planned that way to give it a bigger finale. Did I like the finale of this story? Well, I will say that. I mean, I didn't, obviously, right? Let's just get out of the way. But I will say, I don't know if I'd say that it introduced a lot of new things that I hate as a fresh idea, more than I just still hate all the things that's already set up and done.
Yeah, there are moments like when
Oh,
Bruce
wait, no,
is...
hold on. There's a
What?
thing with Jason later on that does piss me off that's new, so,
Yes.
okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
There
I was
is...
gonna say,
Yeah, okay.
I didn't want to get there yet, but I was gonna try to go on the positive. There's stuff where he's talking about the Robins that I really like Chip's voice for, because it just shows that side of Bruce that I like, that he's proud of his sons, and he might not always show it, but his internal monologue, he's talking about the boys and how he can count on them and all that type of stuff. So I liked all that. Just how the events unfold. I just Batman or Robot Batman, and I don't care at this point. Like, I'm so out on failsafe as a concept in Zurnar. Well, not failsafe exactly. Failsafe is still kind of like, but the whole Zurnar failsafe thing, I'm just kind of over it. Like, the whole idea of this is Batman personified. This is Batman without Bruce Wayne, and he's still about law and order, and he has his own private prison, and apparently that's okay. Apparently the mayor is cool with that.
I think the mayor is cool with that. I think it's very much the opposite.
That's what I mean. Until he sends the commissioner in to, who's now Vandal Savage, to get things under control. And I was just like, ugh, man.
I think the... Okay, where do I want to start with this? All right. First up, we have this new Robin, right? We have.
Oh yeah.
We have.
How did I forget this?
We have Zuren Robin. I'm going to call him now.
Zuren Robin.
We actually debated last issue exactly the origin of this character, and I thought it'd been something that Zuren had just been cooking up for a while. And you said that no, you think he done something to like clone or take something from Damien. And I didn't agree with you at first, but then I looked at the panels again and I said, oh, it does kind of look like he comes out of that tube after Damien goes in. There's actually a line in this issue that makes me think my original thought was right, because it says something about how he's actually a clone of Bruce. He's like a young Bruce clone, not a clone of Damien, which makes me think it was just something he was cooking up already.
He is Boba Fett from the Clone Wars. He is a clone of Bruce. That's not de-aged, but you know what I mean.
He's a fresh clone. He's a fresh...
Yeah. And I hate it even more than I did last issue, where I thought it was a reprogrammed Damien. unless it's gonna age him up, and this is how we get Batman with his hand again. Bruce, anyways. Oh.
I don't think that's where we're going with it, but yeah, I don't know. Like all of this is just continuing the plot. I think my big thing with this is that, potentially I could have enjoyed the idea of Batman reconnecting with the family and they all work together to take down the big bad. But to be honest, like, it just kind of happens mostly off panel. Like, he just kind of says, call in the family, call in the reserves, and they're just kind of all buddy again. I felt like, given that Dick and Babs and Jason are kind of reluctant to work with Bruce, I feel like there should have been more of like him earning their trust back, and instead it just kind of happens very quickly. And I think my biggest problem with it is how off Jason sounds. Like, Jason immediately starts being like, hey, I'm the one that you kind of mind altered and I should be mad about that, but I think we should give him a chance. I'm like, I'm sorry, what have you done with Jason Todd's voice? Because I don't even like Jason Todd, but it's bugging me that this does not sound like Jason. He sounds like an even more positive version than Dick. What's happening right now?
Yep. Because there's a way to say that with Jason going, like, even though he did this to me, no one, Bruce has taught me that no one's beyond redemption, right? But now I'm gonna mess him up, something along those lines, where I'm gonna take out my frustrations on the Zurnar Batman. None of that. This was, hey guys, he messed me up, but now I'm smiling.
Yeah, he
So,
smiles and says, "We can move forward together." And I'm like, none of this sounds like Jason Todd in any
nope.
way, shape, or form. So that felt off to me. I wasn't really feeling that. Uh,
Hmm.
Obviously, the entire concept that we've had this character in Bruce's past. I mean, the issue even opens with a quick flashback of Bruce
Hmm.
sort of saying he doesn't want to build a new personality into his mind. And what's his face? I can never remember his name.
Well,
Uh,
he's the warden. That's what we've been calling him.
yeah, the warden. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like, no, this is about ultimate control, Bruce. This will give you control. And the idea that he's given Joker a word that'll mess up Batman and all the stuff that comes up here, I don't like. But Zuranar and the Warden are going to reprogram the villains of Gotham. They've
Hmm.
got a machine, but they're all hooked up, and they're going to try and cure them and turn them into normal people by basically just taking away parts of their minds and replacing it, or
Oh,
whatever.
with the piece of Batman.
With a piece of Batman, they're going to put a piece of Zuranar into each of the villains. That sounds like a great
Which
idea.
is this how he was going to get the Zernar people, out of their realms? Was we would have a Zernar Batman running around in
Oh,
Enigma?
I see what you mean. Like
Yeah,
1989 Batman Zuranar
yeah,
would be the Zuranar and say Riddler, and then so on and so forth. Yeah,
yeah.
okay,
Is that what the plan was? Because
maybe.
that's kind of dumb.
Yeah, I will
Because
say on the art here, right? Obviously, Two Face is
hmm.
obviously one of them in the background.
Hmm.
Like it really, if it wasn't for the hats on the floor next to their feet, I would never have known that was
Yeah,
Scarecrow because
yeah.
it was just wearing a white robe.
Hmm.
Very strange. But yes, so yeah, Jason helps Batman fight Failsafe slash Juranar, whilst Dick is snooping around with Babsy's help, trying to turn
Hmm.
off the machines and stuff. Tim goes to get Damien out of capture, so we get a sort of
Hmm.
Robin v Robin fight and all that stuff. It's all fine enough. Jimenez draws a good comic for the most part, right? There's
Hmm.
very little to complain about with the art. I can't really fault that too much. The big thing, though, the big sort of linchpin in the plan to defeat Zuranar failsafe
Hmm.
is that Jason has to die. And he has to die by the hands of... It's basically like failsafe got activated in the first place because it thought Batman had killed someone, right? It thought he'd killed Penguin. That's how this all
Uh-huh.
started. So
Yep.
the idea is that if failsafe kills someone or thinks he's killed someone, it'll basically mess with the program and he will just completely break down or
Uh-huh.
whatever. Uh, so you're like, wait. Obviously, as this is happening, and it's like, hey, you've just killed someone, and he doesn't know how to compute it, I was like, okay, obviously Jason's just faking. He's not actually dead. That would be silly, right? And instead of just finding out that he's like, maybe slowed down his heartbeat with like a device or something like that, and he's lying there, we get a flashback to the caves before they came here, and Batman whips out a little vial of Lazarus juice and says, hey, this is enough to bring someone
This
back if it's administered immediately at the moment of death. And I've
this is
designed
the
this.
last of the Lazarus resin I could find.
Yeah, I'm
Ugh.
going to put it into a suit that'll just distribute it immediately when someone dies. And Jason basically chooses to do this and says, "Well, I'm the one that's got experience in dying, so."
So does Bruce, though, right? Like, is
Well,
that so canon? Is R.I.P. so canon?
well, but he didn't die in R.I.P. though.
Oh, he died in Final Crisis. That was the lead up.
No, or even Final, but I mean, he got shot into a different part of time. Technically, we just thought
Right?
he
Oh,
died
that's
in the
true.
moment.
That's true. That's true.
So
He got knocked out of the time stream. Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like it would have mattered more if it was Bruce that had done this, and maybe it would have short circuited Zur-En-Arrh enough, versus just it being Jason Todd, where I feel like Zur-En-Arrh Batman would be like, oh no, not again. You know? That's the
yeah,
price.
yeah.
But I thought that was pretty clever, though, that he fakes a death that gets failsafe to take over the robot portion because the failsafe programming can never be fully locked away. I thought that was pretty clever. Although I hated the mechanism that Zdarsky uses where Bruce, used this time away and his meditation into remembering Zur-En-Arrh, building failsafe, and finding the loopholes in the back doors. I'm just like, I don't know, man. I'd rather have Bruce would have been like, hey, what started all this?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
he could have just figured this out based on what had already
Mm-hmm.
happened. That'd have been more
Yeah.
satisfying. I think I like the core idea of like making failsafe think that he's killed someone,
Mm-hmm.
and that would feel like it's calling back to the start of the
Yep.
story, and it makes sense why it would have
Yeah.
a problem and not know how to cope with that, because the whole idea of failsafe is that it comes into play if Batman's went over a line,
Mm-hmm.
and that I think that core idea is fine, but like I don't like the execution of like actually technically killing someone. Like he didn't need to. Like I don't know. It's just like Jason's back up and he's smiling like it was no big deal afterwards, and it just it's like a gotcha moment to the warden. Like haha, we figured this out. We problem solved it. You ain't got nothing on us.
And again, I passed that point where I hate Jason. Just he's my least favorite Robin, but still, there has been stories recently where I can take him in doses, and this is easily the worst characterization that we got. And it just, like you said, it feels off. He's way too smiley. Him wanting to sacrifice himself fits, but I almost feel like I wish they'd introduced that sooner, so him and Bruce could have that argument. Like I feel like that would have been him really pushing for it would be a big character moment,
I think,
and it skims right past it.
yeah, I think willingly letting one of his sons get killed with some Lazarus just that'll just immediately bring him back is a lot like the whole Zur-En-Arrh and the way it's been used in this run to me, and that it's just making something so fantastical feel like such an easy feat that it doesn't feel like it has any weight to it, and just makes everything feel like I want Batman to feel a bit more grounded than what this run has been.
Yeah.
So I think that's that. The warden at the end is like, oh, there's a storm coming, Bruce. You don't know what's coming. Like I can see all the angles. There's something big's coming. So I suspect that is teasing maybe the next arc after Absolute Power or something like that. But yeah, big splash page at the end with all the Robins with Batman.
How do you like Tim's new suit? It's really more green. The mask is different. I think it's fine.
Look, I don't love it. I definitely prefer classic Tim more than this suit. But if I'm comparing to say the Drake suit, then it's it's fine.
His time at UPS.
Yes, his time at UPS.
I thought the mask though was a little bit New 52, and I don't want to be reminded of New 52 Titans. But yeah, I thought the green. I think that's a nice balance with him and Damian if they're both going to be Robin, right?
Yeah, Damian's suit leads more to red, so Tim's will lead more to green. Yeah,
I don't mind that. So, but that splash page does look nice. I mean, Jimenez. We all know Jimenez can draw, so but yeah, I was kind of hoping that the backup was going to start, and I didn't realize that it was the full. A full comic story. So as I kept getting to the page and we weren't starting the backup, I was like, oh. So.
Well, I wasn't going to read a backup if there was one, so I just had to read 10 extra pages this week.
I didn't hate that one last time with the warden. I mean, there's certain things I didn't like, but that whole side of the plan to essentially brainwash Gotham's villains, I thought that was pretty interesting. And I'm wondering if that has something to do with the storm that he's talking about. So I thought maybe we'd get a little bit of like a post-credit type of deal, but no, it just ended on that splash page.
Yeah. I mean, I think also what might have made this whole like death and reborn thing work for me better is that I don't think Batman should have known about it, bizarrely. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, in the context of the story, he's the one that came up with the plan, but I mean, I don't think Batman should be okay with one of them dying, even if he thinks he can bring them back.
Yeah.
So it would make more sense to me in the moment if Jason had done this behind his back, and for the moment where he's dead, Batman actually thinks he's lost Jason. That would have maybe add some weight to the moment.
Yeah.
It made it a bit more, because and that would tie into Jason being like the reckless kind of guy that he is. It would fit the character for him to be like willy-nilly doing that to win,
Where they have an agreement that like, Bruce is like, I have to do this, and Jason's like, no, you can't. And so Bruce is trying essentially to get Failsafe to kill him, but Jason does a bait and switch or whatever. That that would have been very fulfilling. And it also drives that story about the trust that, because don't forget that under Zdarsky, Jason was traumatized, like not traumatized, but Bruce made him so fearful of things that he couldn't operate. you know. So that would reinstill the trust into them, I think, too. But yeah, and just having a suit with a bunch of little needles in it too to inject the Lazarus. I'm just like, this is the stuff that I don't enjoy.
Nah.
You know?
Nah, I mean, I don't think it's the worst offending issue of this arc. Like, I've definitely came out of other issues angrier. But it's not because this one solved anything. It's just that I'm already just at peace. Yeah, I'm at peace with some of the things that it's already done that it's pissed me off. The entire concept of this arc I've just not liked. But this one does have a few extra new wrinkles to throw in just to annoy me some more. But not as much as some of the other issues. The fighting was fine. It feels a shame that it's just the Robins at the end with Batman, because it feels like all the Batgirls are getting ignored, but you know.
Well, yeah, because Duke, so the Signal and Cass and Steph are also running interference. They're part of the Bat family. So, you know, so they're running interference on all the Bat bots that are roaming around and kind of stopping Savage from storming the prison, storming Blackgate. So, yeah, them being acknowledged would have been nice too.
Yeah. I don't know if I got much more to add at this point. I'm just glad this arc is done. I don't expect I'll like whatever the next arc is, because it's still Zdarsky on Batman, but maybe it'll be better. That's all I've got in my tank, is maybe it'll be better than what we've just had.
Yeah.
And maybe that'll be enough.
It's like, now do I want to go to 150? Am I going to end up having to read these because of Absolute Power? You know? Like, do I just use 150 as a jump off point? Because I don't know how much longer I can get going through this. This is just the sludge every time.
I love the idea that as soon as you say that, they're going to announce that the new run, whoever's on it, is going to start. And you're going to be like, well, I might as well finish this now, because
it never fails, Pete. How many times has that happened since?
A lot. It's happened a lot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, what are you rating Batman, Matt?
This is a 5.5.
Yeah. I'll agree. Well, no, I'll say 5. I'll go straight 5.
Yeah.
It's from a craft perspective, it's finely put together, but conceptually and what it's doing, I just don't like a lot of it, and the execution. It's been kind of the same story with Batman for a good few issues at this point.